Hi, and welcome to Lower Flexibility 1. I'm Jess Rose, and this short, juicy class is all about lengthening and opening the muscles, the connective tissues, and the joints in the body for a full feeling of openness in the lower body. We're going to start with a little flow for today's practice to get movement and heat into the muscles to allow them to open and expand and get deeper into our flexibility. A block will be helpful for this practice, especially if you know that you have tight hips, but if you don't have one, no problem, we'll do it without. So whenever you're ready, let's get started. And we're going to begin in a tabletop position. So come forward onto hands and knees, take your wrists directly underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And from here, stretch your right toes back behind you, tuck them under, pull your low belly up and in, lengthen forward through your spine, and then start to press back into that right heel. And we're starting with the calf muscle, aka the gastrocnemius, just getting some length behind the ankle all the way up to the back of the knee. And this actually has a big impact on how the entire backside of the leg feels when we get into some deep forward folds. So we'll start here. And this pose always surprises me with how amazing it feels and how I can never get enough stretching my calf muscle. We don't do it very often. Let's take 2 more pulses here, just going back and forth. Good. And now from here, kickstand your left toes to the outside edge of the mat. Roll onto the inner edge of the right foot. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Lean back like you're leaning against an imaginary wall. And now from here, take your right arm in line with your right ear, fingertips towards the top of your mat. Press down strongly into the outer edge of your right foot and really try to press the right foot away from you and stretch your right fingers away from you. So you're creating a big, long line through the entire right side body. Deep breath in, and then exhale, spiral back down onto the mat, come back into tabletop position. Switch sides. Left leg goes back, tuck the toes under, and then just pulse forward and back and forward and back. Starting to open the calf muscle, but also starting to move with your breath. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, push back. Breathing in and out through the nose, nice and slow and rhythmic. And now set the intention to keep this slow and rhythmic breath throughout the entire class. Come to center, kickstand the right toes back behind you, roll onto the inner edge of the left foot, lift the left arm up to the sky, lean back, open your chest. And now really strongly press down into the outer edge of the left foot. Stretch your left fingertips up and overhead. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take 1 more deep breath in. And as you exhale, spiral back down onto the mat. Tuck your toes under, press into your hands. Make sure your fingers are spread wide. Lift your hips up and come back into downward facing dog. And in this first downward dog, walk your feet a little bit wider than normal. Bend your knees, roll your hips and your sit bones up towards the sky. Good. And then pedal your feet. So one at a time, lower your heels down, bending your knees one at a time. Just starting to warm up the backs of the legs. Look forward, step the right foot forward next to the right thumb. Lower the left knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, sink down low with the hips. At the same time as you're lowering the hips, pull your legs towards each other so you get this scissoring action of your thighs. So the left hip comes forward, right hip pulls back. Reach up through the fingertips a little bit higher, inhale. And then exhale, plant the hands down, step back to downward dog. Same thing, other side. Inhale, step the left foot forward. Lower the right knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, sink the hips down. Good. And now go against this saggy hammock kind of feeling by pulling the legs towards each other. Really reaching up through the feet into the pelvis, and then from there, expand upwards through the fingertips. 1 more inhale. And exhale, hands come down. Step back, downward dog. Good. Now take your feet mat distance apart. And see if you can really press into your hands to push your thigh bones back towards the wall behind you. You can keep your knees as bent as you need to or you'd like to here. We're not warmed up yet. So it's important to listen to your body and see how you're feeling today. How do the backs of the legs feel today? How does the entire body feel today? And then take as much or as little movement as feels good in your downward facing dog. Walk the feet all the way together, big toes touching. And then on your next inhale, stretch the right leg up and back. Bend the knee, open your hip to the side. So you want to reach the right heel towards the left butt cheek. Lift the right knee straight up towards the sky, inhale. And as you exhale, step your right foot in between your hands. You can lift the heels of your hands up to get there. Spin your left heel down, and then windmill the arms up, coming into warrior two. Good. Bend deeply into the right knee. And we'll just take a couple of deep breaths here. And just to release the shoulder muscles, flip your palms up, bend your elbows, and then just let the shoulders soften down. Good. One more deep breath in. And exhale. Stretch the arms out. Keep the right palm flipped up. Inhale, lean back. Reverse your warrior. Stretch your right fingertips back behind you, but keep the bend in the right knee. Take a deep inhale. And now as you exhale, press down into the right foot. Straighten the right leg. Hinge from the hips. And take your right hand down, either to a block if you have it, or to your right shin. Reach the left arm up and overhead for triangle pose, Trikonasana. Lean back, draw the shoulders down away from the ears, and feel this really nice length all the way from the hip in the right leg down through the heel. Inhale. And exhale, look down to the right foot, bend the right knee. Windmill both hands down to the mat and step back to downward dog. Good. From here, I'm going to spin around so I can be on the same side as you, and then walk the toes to touch. Inhale, stretch the left leg up and back behind you. Bend the knee, open the hip. So point the left knee straight up to the sky or as far as you can. Bring the left heel towards the right glute. Take a deep breath in. And now as you exhale, step the left foot in between the hands. You can use your hand to bring it forward if you need to. Spin the right heel down and then windmill the arms up one at a time. Warrior two. Bend deeply down into the left knee, and you'll notice how this starts to open the inner left thigh and also the back hip. Inhale here. And then exhale, work to soften and release the shoulders. Couple more breaths. Notice how deeply you've bent the front knee. And then if you want a little bit more, bend the knee a little bit further. Flip the left palm up. Take a deep inhale to lean back and reverse your warrior. Hold it here. Inhale. And now as you exhale, press down into the left foot. Straighten the left leg. Stretch your arms out into a T shape and then come on down for triangle pose, Trikonasana. Left hand to the left shin or to a block. And then right arm straight up to the sky. Lean back. Push the hips forward slightly. And then imagine that back leg spiraling open at the same time as the front thigh spirals back behind you. Keep breathing here. Relax all 10 toes. And then press down strongly into your left heel. One more in-breath. Exhale, look down to the left foot. Bend the left knee. Inhale. And then exhale, windmill the hands down and step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, this time come forward into plank pose, shoulders over the wrists. Lower the knees down softly, untuck the toes, land on your belly. Pop up with spider hands to either side of the mat. And then inhale to roll the chest up, pull the shoulders back, push the heart forward. Exhale, lower down, slide the hands under the shoulders. Press back into child's pose. So hips to the heels, stretch the arms forward. And then lift back up to downward facing dog. Good. From here, let's do that again. We're going to change it up on this side though. Inhale, stretch the right leg up and back behind you. Bend the knee, open the hip to the side. You might already start to feel like the back of the left leg is opening and the hip on the right side is creating a bit more space. Look forward and step the right foot in between the hands. And if you didn't notice it, that's okay too. Spin the left heel down, and then again, windmill the arms up, coming up into warrior two. This time, immediately we'll flip the right palm up, take a deep breath in, lean back, reverse your warrior. And as you exhale, take the right elbow to the right thigh. Sink your hips down low to really get into the back of the right hamstring and get into the hips. And then stretch your left arm up and overhead and then in line with your ear so your fingertips are reaching in the opposite direction as the outer edge of your left foot. Keep breathing here. And this is a hip opener, so we have a lot going on in every different part of the body, but primarily we're focused on the lower body, sinking the hips down and then extending. Take a deep breath in. And now as you exhale, take both hands down to the inside of the right foot, lift the left heel up off the mat. Walk your right foot off to the right side of the mat. And then you can either stay with your left knee lifted up, or you can lower it down to the mat. Your choice, your practice. Toes can stay tucked under or untucked for lizard pose. Take a deep breath in here and lift your chest up. And now as you exhale, allow the hips to melt down. Slow down the breath. We'll stay here for about 5 breaths. And now really strongly press down into the right foot, especially the right heel. Ground down through that foot. And then without moving the foot, imagine that you want to pull the foot back behind you. And this will engage the hamstring, which will actually help it lengthen even more. Take one more deep breath in and out. Tuck the back toes under if they're not there already. Lift the back knee up. And now step your left foot to the outside of your left hand, coming into a squat. Lift the hips straight up to the sky, step forward, and plop down. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take a deep breath in, lift up nice and tall, and exhale to settle in. All right, but for this squat, it's not just any regular old squat. We're actually gonna resist the inner thighs against the arms. So here, push your elbows into your thighs, but at the same time, press your legs in towards your elbows. And really do that strongly so that you feel the muscles in your inner thighs fire up and start to create some heat. And what happens with stretching, and the more that we learn about flexibility, is that the nervous system controls everything. And if we go into a stretch that's really deep, the nervous system pulls back and it gets scared that we're gonna tear the muscle. So it says, no, I'm gonna tighten instead. But if we strengthen the same muscles that we're trying to stretch, then it shows the nervous system that the muscles are safe and that we can go deeply into the pose without hurting ourselves. So keep pressing your thighs into your elbows, and we'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale, keep squeezing. Exhale, 2. Inhale. And exhale, 1. Release the fingertips down onto the floor in front of you. Lift your hips up. Point your toes forward. You can keep a deep bend in your knees if you'd like to. I always like to at the beginning of the practice. And then just release your head down towards the mat. We'll take a couple breaths here. Roll your hips and your sit bones straight up towards the sky, and then relax your shoulders down. Relax the head. Maybe even open your mouth, stick out your tongue, make some noise, release the jaw. Give the head a shake. Beautiful. And then plant the hands down and step back to downward dog. Take a moment in your down dog and just feel into the backs of the legs. Maybe you're starting to warm up a little bit. Maybe there's a bit more length from the heels to the sitting bones. And again, if there's not, no worries. This stuff takes time. On your next inhale, stretch the left leg up and back behind you. Bend the knee, open the hip to the side. Point the left knee straight up to the sky. Really try to pull the heel in towards the right glute. 1 more deep breath. And now as you exhale, step the left foot forward in between the hands. Spin the right heel down. And then inhale to windmill yourself up. Exhale, sink down low into the left thigh. Take a couple of breaths here. And then again, you can choose how deep you want to go, how much opening do you want to find in the hips. On your next breath in, flip the left palm up to the sky, lean back and reverse your warrior. Inhale, really stretch back through the fingertips. And exhale, sink down a little bit deeper. Keep this deep bend in the left knee. On your next exhale, come forward, bring your left elbow to the left thigh. Stretch your right arm up to the sky, and then make a big arc with the arm, bringing it in line with the ear, fingertips pointing towards the top of the mat, and then press down strongly through the outer edge of the right foot as you keep sinking the hips down low. Keep breathing. One more time, inhale. And now as you exhale, look down to the inner left foot. Take both hands down. Wiggle the left foot off to the left side of the mat as you lift the right heel up off the mat, coming into lizard, side 2. And then again, your choice, you can lower the back knee down, you can untuck the toes if you'd like. Push down into the hands, lift the back of the heart straight up, and then lengthen your belly and your heart forward for a couple of breaths here. Relax the hips, soften. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. And exhale 1. Beautiful. Now from here, tuck your back toes, lift the back knee, and once again, step the right foot forward to the outside of the right hand. Come back into squat pose, malasana. Bring the palms of the hands together in front of your heart. Sit up as tall as you can. And now, with even more intensity, squeeze the thighs in towards the arms. At the same time, resist the thighs with the elbows as you press out from the center line. Let's take 3 breaths. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last time in. And last time, release. Good. Plant the hands down. And step your left foot all the way back as far as you can. Spin both feet to face the long edge of the mat. Walk both hands to the inside of the right foot, and now bend the right knee deeply. Maybe your left toes even lift up off the mat. Maybe your right heel lifts up off the mat. This all depends on our bone structure. Inhale here, and now as you exhale, walk over towards the left foot, lift the right toes, maybe lift the left heel up. Long spine. And now we're just going to switch sides, 1 breath per movement. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, come up to center. Walk your hands to your thighs. Press down to lift yourself all the way up. And now point your toes towards the long edge of the mat. Take your hands to your hips. Take a deep breath and lift your heart up. Pull the elbows back. And as you exhale, send your hips back and your heart forward as you fold down. Lower your hands down. If you have a block here, it's really helpful. Otherwise, hands underneath the shoulders. And then relax the crown of your head down towards the floor like you're trying to spill the contents of your brain, of your mind down towards the ground. And lift your hips up. And start to shift your weight towards your toes and away from your heels. If this is way too intense on the backs of the legs, then bend the knees a little bit. That's totally fine. Good. Inhale here. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale 2. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale 1. Bend the knees deeply. Walk the hands back to the thighs and then inhale to lift yourself all the way back up. Take both hands down to the top of the mat and step back to downward facing dog. From here, walk the big toes to touch. 1 more time, inhale, lift the right leg up, bend the knee, open the hip,
And now this time we're gonna draw big circles with the right knee. So imagine that you have a pencil attached to the knee and you wanna draw big circles around the back wall and the ceiling. So like this, just moving into the right hip joint, getting some flexibility here, but also mobility. Take one more round. Good, and now we're gonna come into pigeon pose. So look forward. Bring the right knee behind the right wrist with the foot to the left side of the mat. Here, the right shin can be at an angle of about 45 degrees. It can even be closer in towards the hips. No need to go out too far. Wiggle the left toes back. If you have a block and you'd like to use it, you can grab that now and slide it underneath your right thigh. All right, now from here, sit up nice and tall and really press down into the right leg. So imagine that you're just like pressing down as hard as you can with the right shin, outer right hip. And then begin to walk your hands forward, coming down into the pose. Keep strongly pressing down with the right leg. And you feel that the outer right hip is firing up. You can feel some heat, maybe some contraction in the hip muscle. And this is exactly what we want. So this engagement that tells the nervous system that the muscle is safe, everything's fine, we're not going to injure the joint. And then we'll be able to really relax into it. So keep pressing down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now release that pressing feeling and just let the hips sink down. Relax the chest down in between the shoulders. Soften the belly. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. See if you can breathe down into the tips of the lungs and also into the lungs in the back part of the body. One more deep breath in. One more deep breath out. You can open your mouth to let it go. And then walk your hands under your shoulders. Tuck the left toes under, press back, lift into downward facing dog. Take a moment here to shimmy your hips side to side. Do your little down dog dance. Bend your knees, pedal the feet. Maybe open your mouth, stick out your tongue. And then walk the feet together. Inhale, float the left leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip, and then immediately we go into our circles. Draw as big of circles as you can on the ceiling, up above you. Just getting a lot of movement and a lot of muscle tone in the left hip. 2 more. Last time. Look forward, bring the left knee behind the left wrist, foot to the right side of the mat. Again, we have this angle here going back towards the pelvis. Wiggle the right toes back. Grab your block if you need it, if you'd like to have it. Untuck the back toes. And now press down super strongly into the left leg until you feel the muscles in the outer hip engage and fire up. Keep that pressing sensation and walk your hands forward. Release the belly down. You can dip the chest down in between the arms. And then without losing everything, keep pressing down into this left leg. Hold it here. Press even stronger now for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now release that. Let the left leg relax and notice if you feel a little bit more of this like melting sensation in the left hip. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe it comes later. Either way, deepen the breath. We've done what we need to do in order to tell our central nervous system that we can get deeper into the hips, to start opening and get more flexibility in that area. Take 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Walk the hands back. Tuck the right toes. Press back strongly back to downward facing dog again. All right, and then lower your knees down onto the mat. If you have tight hips and you'd like to sit back onto a block, now is a good time to grab your block. And then swing your legs forward. Bend your knees. Take your left foot to the outside of the right hip. And then slide your right foot to the outside of the left knee. Like so. From here, interlock your hands around your right knee. And then pull back into the knee, and then press your knee into your hands at the same time. So with the same force, just creating a resistance here. And then from that resistance, lift up through your low belly, lift up through your chest, and pull your shoulders back. And now, this is just like our squat pose before. Keep pressing these two parts of the body together strongly. And then again, we're just activating this outer hip, and we're activating the nervous system to allow everything to release just a little bit deeper. So hold it again for 5. Keep pressing. 4. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. And now we're going to take a twist. So release that squeezing sensation. Wrap your left arm to the front of the right knee. Take your right arm back behind you, and then take a little twist over to the right side. Inhale, get really tall. And exhale, roll the right shoulder open as you twist a little bit deeper. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, unwind, and we'll switch sides. Bring the right foot to the outside of the left hip. Left foot to the outside of the right knee. Interlock your hands in front of the left knee. Sit up tall, roll the shoulders back, broaden the collarbones apart. Take a deep breath in. And now as you exhale, these two forces coming together create this resistance between the legs and the hands. And again, just sending signals to the body that everything is strong so that we can release and get a little bit more flexible in those muscles and in those joints. Keep pressing, holding it here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now relax and soften. Take the left hand back behind you as you hug the right arm around the left knee. Sit up tall. And as you exhale, twist. Look back over the right shoulder. Inhale, get taller. Exhale, twist. One more time, inhale. And exhale, twist. Come back to center. And now take your legs out wide to the sides. We're coming into a wide straddle position. And here for most of us, especially if you feel like you're inflexible in the backs of the legs, what we're gonna wanna do is pick up the hips, pick up the butt meat, and move it back behind us so that we're sitting up firmly on the sit bones. If you feel like you're rounding into your low back, this is very common. You can lean back and bend your knees a little bit. You can also sit up on your block. That's super helpful, and no shame in bending the knees and using props at all. Okay. So here you want to be about 75% of like your maximum capacity. Point your toes up to the sky, or kneecaps at least, directly up to the sky. Hands behind you, out to the sides. Take a deep breath in, lift your chest up. And now as you exhale, either stay right like this if you feel this is a lot of intensity in the inner thighs, or if you'd like, you can walk your hands forward and begin to fold down. Upavishta Konasana is the name of this pose. If you can reach your elbows down to the ground, then you can bring the palms of your hands together. But this isn't the goal. So actually the goal in yoga is never what a pose looks like. It's never the shape that the body can make, but it's actually about the integrity of our body in any given pose. So are we being gentle? Are we being kind and loving to our body? And we're not aiming for any sort of perfection here. This is just about meeting ourselves and our body right where we are in the moment today. So make sure that you're in that place where you feel there's a little bit of intensity. You can definitely feel something, but it's not causing you to grimace. You're not going to the point where it feels overwhelming in any way to the body or to the nervous system. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Beautiful. Now inhale, lift yourself up if you walk down. Take your hands behind your knees, lean back, lift the knees straight up to the sky, and then swing your legs around in front of you, and we'll come into one more forward fold here. Again, point the kneecap straight up to the sky, move your butt meat behind you. Take your hands next to your thighs, roll the shoulders back, and sit up nice and tall. And then try to keep this length in your upper body as you hinge from the hips, so not rounding the back, but moving from the hip joint. And this might be leaning back. This could be sitting up at a 90-degree angle. This is already a really deep forward fold. So if this is where you're at, be happy about this. Most people can't even get this far. Otherwise, if you're feeling more open in the backs of the legs, you can start to reach the belly button forward. So lift up the low belly, slide it forward towards the thighs. And then it doesn't matter where the hands go. They can come down to the mat. Only if it feels okay and you're not overextending, you can bring your hands to the feet. But again, this is not the goal. The goal is to be nice to the body. All right, from here, we're gonna add something special to the pose. So put a little bend in your knees. Press straight down into your heels, and now pull the heels back towards the hips. And you feel the hips pull forward to try to meet the heels. The backs of the legs fire up strongly, so keep grounding down into the heels, pulling the legs in towards each other for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slide the heels forward, and now notice maybe you can come down a little bit further. Again, we've sent these signals to the nervous system that the muscles are strong, they're not gonna tear, everything's fine, we can go a little bit deeper. Let's do that one more time. Bend the knees, just slightly. Press down strongly into the heels, and now pull the heels back. You'll notice the hips pull forward, and then you feel the hamstrings fire up strongly. Hold this again, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slide the heels forward, release. Maybe you come a little bit deeper and maybe not, and that's totally fine. Flexibility is a practice of time and of energy and of gravity and so many things, but it takes a while, so don't beat yourself up, and please don't pull yourself into any pose that doesn't feel good. All right, enough with the pep talk. Inhale to lift yourself up. And then as you exhale, bend the knees, slide your butt forward, roll down onto your back, pull your knees up to your shoulders, gently rock side to side. Stay here or come into happy baby pose, arms to the insides of the legs, hands to the outsides of the feet, and then bring the soles of the feet up towards the sky. Good, and then from here, pull the feet down with the hands. And then bring your tailbone down towards the floor. So you try to keep this curve in your lower back. Like a little baby animal or like a little bird's egg could perch and rest underneath your lower back. Tailbone is down so strongly. Stay like this, or for bonus points, we're going to create some resistance here too. Without moving your hands and your feet, pull your hands up and back towards the shoulders. And at the same time, resist that by pulling your heels away from your hands without moving anything. So this isn't something visual. We're just energetically pulling in opposite directions with the hands and the feet. Hold it here. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Last time in. And exhale, 1. Beautiful. Release the feet down if they were up. Bring the soles of the feet together, the knees out wide to the side. Make a gentle fist with your hands, and then slide the fist underneath the top of your thighs, right where it meets the glutes. And then this will be support for the thigh bones and for the hips. Roll your shoulders away from your ears, slide the crown of your head towards the top of the mat. Close your eyes. And this pose is going to serve as our shavasana today. You're welcome. Let's just take a few breaths here. Maybe sigh out the mouth. Relaxing the chest and the belly as you exhale. Softening the face, the muscles around the jaw and the cheeks and the eyes. And then allow the inner thighs and the knees to relax down towards the mat as you breathe, as you soften, as you expand. Take 3 more slow, even breaths here at your own rhythm, allowing the effects of the practice to sink in and integrate into every muscle, every joint, all of your connective tissues. More space, more freedom. And then lift your knees up. You can use your hands to help you. Press the soles of the feet down onto the mat. Reach your arms up and overhead. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll onto your favorite side, and then press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Sit up tall, and then just notice the heaviness, the groundedness in the hips, in the thighs, in the legs. Hopefully everything feels a bit more open, a bit more supple. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope your lower body feels vibrant, open, and amazing, and that you carry these feelings with you throughout the rest of your day. Namaste.